Check it out, the refreshed and updated 2025 Nissan Frontier trucks are here, and they bring with them several very important updates. But we have many questions. Are these updates worth it? How do these trucks stack up against competition? So in this video, I'm gonna take two of these brand new Pro 4X pickup trucks. I'm gonna take them for a test drive, show you all the changes. We can talk about all the specs and consider the competition. Toyota Tacoma, Ford Ranger, Chevy Colorado, and the rest. Let's dig in. The 2025 changes begin up here with the styling update, but it's very subtle. If you didn't know, you may miss it. So the front grille section is now all black and it reaches down here. I can show you another clip that shows how this grille compares to the previous one. But my favorite feature update are these three nostrils here in the top of the grille. They're not functional, there's no air going in here, but it's a styling change that harkens back to the original Nissan hardbody pickup trucks, the 4x4s of yesteryear, and I love this update. Let me know what you think. There's a second small style update on the 2025 Frontier, and it is applique that runs the length of the tailgate. It reminds me of a couple of things. First, the outgoing Nissan Titan full-size truck that's now discontinued. Also, Ford has been doing something similar in recent years, but it's another change, visual update. Let me know what you think once again. Do you like this, or would you rather have it without this applique? But did they change the engine? No, they did not. And for many of you, and also for me, that's a great thing, because under the hood here of the 2025 model is a 3.8 liter V6. Nissan calls it the VQ38. It's been in the Nissan Frontier truck since March of 2020, so it's been about 4.5 years. Power hasn't changed, 310 horsepower and 281 pound-feet of torque. But here's the character of this engine. I mean, it's a big displacement, and it goes up against trucks like the Tacoma, the Chevy Colorado, Ford Ranger, which have small displacement, four-cylinder turbocharged engines. So you may need to actually rev this engine a little bit higher to get maximum horsepower, because maximum horsepower comes in at 6,400 RPM. But because it's large displacement, I don't feel like I need to. Well, let me take it for a drive and see how it feels. So, how can this V6 engine compete against the likes of the new Tacoma Hybrid that has 465 pound-feet of torque, or the new twin-turbo Ford Ranger Raptor with 430 pound-feet of torque, or the new Chevy Colorado or GMC Canyon twins with 430 pound-feet of torque? Well, it competes really well, actually. There are two words that come to mind when driving a Nissan Frontier: honest and tough. This truck does not pretend to be a sport truck or a sports car. It's just very tough. It does the work that you ask it to do. If you want to commute in it, it will do that. If you want to tow a heavy trailer, like we've done many times on the Gauntlet, World's Toughest Towing Test, it will do it, and then it will ask for more without overheating or anything like that. And if you want to go off-road, well, there's a small ground clearance issue. It has 9.5 inches of ground clearance according to Nissan, but I always want more. All right, we're gonna launch up the mountain, and this is super high elevation. That's why the Gauntlet is a world's toughest towing test.
That's cool. It is a tough one, and it's like a
so I'm gonna start at 35 miles an hour as always. I'm gonna floor it, and you start the timer.
Yes.
Now.
Are you wide open throttle?
I'm wide open. Do you feel the acceleration?
No, I hear the noise. Is that what it's supposed to do?
Well, see, okay, this engine is a V6, no turbos. It revs super high.
Yes, at 4,400.
Can you lift the phone?
Oh, lift
60 miles an hour. How many?
22.
Show the camera, please.
It's going past that, but it was a 22, cameraman.
We're finishing our run.
What did it do? It shut up, bounced off.
I have timer here.
Okay.
So are you ready to receive the time and MPG?
Yes.
I'm gonna stop it now. 7 minutes 52 seconds and 4.7 MPG.
4.7?
Yes.
That's decent.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good for a gasoline-powered vehicle, not a diesel. Here at TFL Truck, we've been testing pickups for over 12 years in the real world. And even though the EPA here says that this Frontier has a 16 MPG city, 20 highway, and 18 combined rating, because this seems low, in the real world, you can actually get better results, of course, after the engine is broken in. And Nathan and I did a Denver 100 MPG loop recently, several months back. It included a Frontier with this engine, so let me show you what happened. Finally, the Nissan. Oh, also a traditional cab.
Yep.
But I have to hang it correctly, otherwise the commenters will say something
that's a
bad.
special spot for it, or else we can get, yeah. How big's the tank on this one?
21.
So 21 is the same as the Chevy.
Yeah.
So what's the highway MPG in this thing?
According to the EPA and Nissan, 23.
But that's before all this stuff is on there.
Well, it's a 4x4 Frontier. That's how they rate it.
Right.
Oh yeah, it's time to figure out who is the winner. I'm excited. All right, dude, so this could be unpredictable. I mean, the Nissan is showing 24.4. That's a good number.
That's a really good number.
30 seconds, just let everything settle like we always do. We're not damaging anything. That's why we're waiting. And just a quick top off. Woo! 5.0 gallons? The Nissan trip meter may have overestimated a bit.
Maybe.
Let's calculate.
All right.
So according to GPS, that was 110.3 miles. I measured it.
Okay.
Divide by 5 point what?
5.057.
21.8. 21.8 MPG is pretty good. It's a little bit lower than the highway rating on the Frontier. All right, now let's talk about capability, payload, and towing, which is now changed. But before that, do you notice anything different on this Pro 4X off-road model? Yes, it's the long bed. You can see this. I'm about 6'3", and this is a 6-foot bed. And Nissan hasn't offered this configuration in at least a couple of decades, not recently anyways. So now you can get 4-door cab, long bed option, and if you are camping, if you're carrying more stuff, now the long bed is available in more trim levels. And Pro 4X is now one of them, and I think Nissan is doing it because they have to compete against others like the Toyota Tacoma Trail Hunter that also offers a long bed in an off-road truck. This fully optioned long bed truck has a payload rating of 940 pounds, which is lowish. I want to see numbers over 1,000 pounds in a pickup truck like this. But if you get a work truck, Frontier S, you can get up to 1,480 pounds of payload. This video would not be possible without our friends at Boulder Nissan. Use the link in the description below, check them out, reach out to Joey and the team over there, and these trucks are for sale there, and they have a huge selection of Nissan vehicles and also used ones. But let's talk about towing. For 2025, Nissan increased the tow rating on the Frontier up to 7,150 pounds, and it's about 500 pounds greater than it was before. And this hitch, I think, is in a good position. These hooks, these receivers for the trailer chain hooks, I think are accessible and easy to reach. And of course, I like this placement of the wiring receptacle, the 7-pin connector here and the 4-pin connector up here. And since the Nissan Titan is no more, I think Nissan had to upgrade their towing on the Frontier, and they did. Yes, when pulling a trailer in the mountains, the RPM will be in the higher range, you know, maybe 4,000, 5,000 RPM. So it's not going to be quite as comfortable maybe to the driver or passenger, because the engine, you'll be able to hear how high it's revving. If this was a turbocharged engine or a hybrid, then those vehicles would be quieter, the RPM would be lower, because those vehicles make maximum torque at lower RPM ranges. But nonetheless, I think this engine is still quite competitive, and a lot of you I know love it because according to you guys, this engine is reliable. I actually want to see this for myself. If you have a 3.8 liter Nissan Frontier from several years back with lots of miles, please reach out to me at ask@tfltruck.com. Email me, especially if you're in the Denver area, Boulder area, and maybe we can get together. You can show me all the miles you've put on your Nissan and if you've had any issues with it. But generally speaking, these trucks are known to be very, very good and very tough, and that's what the Frontier is all about. And the fact that they added the long wheelbase to the Frontier, including the Pro 4X, well, first of all, I think they're trying to cover their bases because the Titan is no more, but also it will offer a slightly better ride, longer wheelbase, more stability, all the good things that come with a longer truck and slightly heavier truck. I just wish the payload was higher. Please, Nissan, maybe upgrade your gross vehicle weight rating, lift it up a little bit, give the truck a little bit more carrying capacity so we can tow even more and heavier trailers. The 2025 Pro 4X now comes with this new wheel design. Let me know what you think once again in the comments below. I love it. I think it's really tough and almost military looking. I'm just not sure because it's a little bit asymmetric here, and I'm kind of OCD, so I haven't made up my mind yet, but it's wrapped in this tire, this Hankook Dynapro AT2. The tire size is still 265/70 R17, and it translates to about 31.6 inch diameter. And as always, I wish this tire would be a little bit bigger from the factory, but you could always change it after the fact. I believe Nissan has used this tire for several years, and it's actually a good traction tire. Roman and I took an older Pro 4X 2022 model up all the way over the Rocky Mountains, and the tire provided plenty of traction. But now let's take a look at some of the other off-road gear.
What's it feel like now that we're in Colorado actually off-roading it? Does it feel capable? Does it feel solid? Does it feel like it's, you know, ready to handle the Colorado off-road?
Yeah, so first of all, I can tell the truck is a little bit more controlled than it ever was, but it's more of a slow speed crawler. You know, as soon as I pick up my speed, my pace, the shocks, you know, are not liking it. The suspension is not liking it. I don't have enough ground clearance. But as long as I'm going slowly, it feels good.
Yeah, it's funny, this like Cold War, maybe it's a hot war that Bill Stein and Fox are having. You know, some of the manufacturers are going right for Fox and some are going for Bill Stein. And it's interesting to see which one's picking, you know, who, and which of the two brands is going to become the winner at the end of this.
The off-road gear hasn't changed for this year. You still have Bilstein shocks on the Pro 4X. You have an aluminum skid plate up here. You have steel skid plates running further down to protect all of the vital components. I'm pretty happy with this. You also have a rock slider or a step. Let me show you. Yeah, let's take a look at this side step. So it comes in two parts, and Nissan has done something similar before. So you got this bar running along the body. It's actually attached to inside of the body, not the frame directly. So I'm not sure exactly how Nissan rates this, either for like half of body weight or not. So I'm not quite sure if this is a true rock slider. And then there is side steps that I don't think are really necessary. Most people, I think, you know, this is about 12 inches, can step up into the truck without the step, but you have an option to remove them, or I guess not have the step at all. So it's just up to you. Many truck manufacturers are removing buttons and knobs and going to digital screens, but Nissan is staying with a lot of buttons and knobs. Here on my left, by the steering wheel, I have similar controls that they had before. I have my rear locker for the Pro 4X, traction control, hill descent control, cargo lamp, my Nissan 360 driver assistance tech, and also a 400 watt inverter switch. Also my tow mode. This truck still doesn't have a built-in brake controller though, so I would have to buy one if I want to tow with the Frontier, at least the Pro 4X one here. So they kept the buttons, but I wish they updated this tech and added a brake controller. I've always liked the Nissan Frontier design, and it gets even better, I think, in my opinion, here for 25. The center screen in most upper trim models is bigger. It's a 12.3 inch screen. And they maintain, once again, a lot of knobs and switches. But there are a couple of issues. Let me show you. The operating system is about the same as before, but you do have wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, which are great. But here's the issue. The camera system doesn't take up the whole screen, and the resolution on the camera is still poor, in my opinion. So this is not up to date. Nissan, I'm hoping they can redesign this very soon, but for 2025 model, the cameras are just poor resolution in general, but they offer several different views. At least you have that. Climate control system, still very simple to use, and physical controls. Heated seats, same thing. Heated steering wheel, yes. Parking sensors, yes. 4x4 system, yes. Still the same switch. And by the way, in 4-low, combined with the first gear on a 9-speed automatic, the crawl ratio is about 54:1. I like the simplicity of this truck to some extent. Still manually adjustable steering wheel, telescopes, and lifts. You can get it set up very quickly. The tachometer and the speedometer are still analog, but there's quite a bit of digital information available as well, and I really welcome this. I wish there were some numerical values for some of these auxiliary gauges, but still you got those dials. You can track your fuel efficiency, satellite radio, navigation, a speed limit sign recognition, driving aids, and of course tire pressures that will reset once I'm moving. Some competitors, like the new Ford Ranger, do not offer a sunroof option at all. The Frontier does still, and it's just up to you. Do you like this feature or not? You can make your choice. The cab didn't change, so the rear seat room did not change either. I'm about 6'3". My hair touches the ceiling a little bit. I'm sitting behind myself. My knees are touching a little bit. This is very typical for a mid-size truck. Ian, can you help me? I want to lift up this seat. Let's see, and there's a little lever there. So I wish that was a one-hand operation, but it's kind of a two-hand operation. You still have a little bit of storage here and a subwoofer. Fender audio system still in this truck. I think one of the best stereo systems in any pickup truck. Midsize, I'm talking about, midsize. Before we get to the price of the Pro 4X truck, let me tell you where it starts. So if you buy a King cab, which is an extended cab version of the Frontier Model S, two-wheel drive, with destination charges, that truck starts at $33,560. And how does it compare, that base work truck, to competition? I'm using some of my notes here. Toyota Tacoma Extra Cab SR two-wheel drive is just a little bit below that at $32,995. Chevy Colorado Crew Cab work truck, $31,395. GMC Canyon is quite a bit expensive, more. On top of that, Ford Ranger Crew Cab XL, $34,315. Jeep Gladiator Crew Cab 4x4, because it only comes as a 4x4, $39,790. And of course, the Honda Ridgeline starts at $41,545. So the Frontier truck for 2025 is not the most affordable, it's not the cheapest, but check out what happens when you step up to the Pro 4X models. For 2025, this Pro 4X short bed truck starts at $41,770. And then you have lots of options. Pro Convenience Package, Pro Premium Package, off-road steps. You've got special color, premium color, which is this afterburn orange, and the final MSRP of $51,525. I did not think there would be a day where a Nissan Frontier is over 50 grand, but just wait a second. Let me show you how it compares to Tacoma and some other trucks. This long wheelbase, long bed It's labeled as LWB. Starts at $42,270. So before I show you some of the competition pricing, this one doesn't have a very fancy color. It's gun metallic, and the sticker price is $51,600. So for about the same money, you could buy either one of these, either the short bed in orange or the long bed in gun metallic. All right, you're probably freaking out about the $51,000 price right now, but let me show you how it compares. The Toyota Tacoma Trail Hunter long bed has a starting price of $64,895. Chevy Colorado ZR2 Bison does not offer a long bed, and it starts at $60,840. Canyon 84X AV Edition starts at $65,995. Ford Ranger Raptor, $57,215. Gladiator Rubicon X from Jeep, $62,235. And of course, the Ridgeline Trail Sport Honda, $46,775. So here, after you add all the options in, the Honda Ridgeline Trail Sport and the Nissan Frontier Pro 4X are actually the value leaders. So you have to consider that while making your decision, because you might be spending between $6,000 above where these Frontiers are to about $14,000 more on some of the competition. So I think that's a huge point to consider. So what do you guys think? I specifically like that Nissan added to the towing ability of the new Frontier, but the payload is still struggling. And of course, all the other features, the longer bed, I think it's a great option, especially for those adventurous people who want to go camping into the wild. But if you guys gave me $60,000 this minute and said the only way to get rid of this $60,000 is to buy a mid-size pickup truck, I may have to choose a Ranger Raptor. Yes, the Ranger Raptor tows way less, 5,500 pounds, but it's way quicker. It's so much fun with that twin turbocharged V6 3-liter, and it's got adjustable suspension and amazing traction, front and rear locking differentials. So my money currently is kind of on the Ranger Raptor in the midsize segment. Let me know what you think. I'll see you next time, and also check out oldtfl.com for everything automotive in one place.